to SportsBeat KC, the Kansas City Star's daily sports podcast. It's Friday, February 26th, and I'm Blair Kirchhoff. Missouri is one of the first major programs to start spring football practice. The Tigers are reporting today. I saw where Alabama begins on March 19th and LSU on March 16th. The Florida Gators have already started, but heck, they got the weather advantage. Mizzou coach Eli Drinkwitz met with the media earlier this week, and we're going to hear most of his comments today. He spoke about the new additions to the Tigers staff, on quarterback Conner Bazelak, and a new defensive coordinator Steve Wilks, among many other topics. After a break, you'll hear from Missouri Athletic Director Jim Sterk. I was interested to hear what he had to say about selling tickets to this year's games and the progress of the new indoor facility. So let's talk Missouri football and hear from Eli Drinkwitz.
You know, new year, new team, same goal to win the SEC East. We're excited to open spring football and to really begin creating our edge for this team and this season. You know, each year the process starts over and you have to lay a foundation, and that's really what our objectives for not only off-season workouts but spring football are. You know, we've been working over the last couple of months through some strategic realignment. I'm excited about how we've been able to continue to push this program forward by making some strategic moves to add championship value and pedigree to our program and SEC experience. You know, today there was a release on a couple of new additions. I'd like to announce the addition of Ryan Russell as our Executive Director of Athletic Performance. He will oversee the critical area of player development and cultural development within our program, really being in charge of and coordinating all aspects of strength development, nutrition, equipment, athletic training. He's got a championship pedigree from his time at Auburn. Have a personal relationship with Ryan back to our days at Auburn and Arkansas State, and excited for his knowledge of this conference and what it takes to win this conference. And him and Sarah are going to be great additions to our staff. We also added Brett Whiteside as our Chief Recruiting Officer. He will coordinate the entrance and exit of our players into our program by being the lead person in organizing and day-to-day operations of recruiting those young men into our program, as well as coordinating the postgraduate career development for our program. And so really excited about the level of organization and insight that Brett has and brings to our program, and excited to add Natalie and Timothy and Brett to our program there. LaDamian Washington has been elevated to Director of Player Development. Obviously, LaDamian's a former player here and a team captain who went on to have just a great career in life after football, or life with football, and now we're welcoming him back to life after football. Just been impressed with the relationships that he's been able to forge with our players, and just a great man of character that can really benefit our players on a day-to-day basis. And he's doing a great job with character development, real-world experiences, and he's helping coordinate with Brett Whiteside on our postgraduate careers. He's helped with our freshman bridge program and developing the curriculum for that. So very fired up about LaDamian being back a part of who we are at Mizzou. And then today we added Aaron Fletcher to be our defensive backs coach. Aaron has spent the past 6 years at Tulsa. He was on Coach Montgomery's first staff at Tulsa. He spent 2 years at Houston Baptist before that. He's got extensive connections in the DFW area, which is a primary recruiting ground for us. And we're excited to bring him and his wife, Tanzania, and their 3 children to our campus. And he'll be joining us by the end of this week, ready in time for spring ball. Nothing like a quick hire and getting ready to coach some football. So as far as spring, we have 3 distinct goals for our spring football practice. Number 1 is individual player development. Again, our goal is for each and every single player on our team to develop this spring, to take them from where they're at, to get them to a different place as a player and as a person. Fundamentally and technique, we want to continue to increase their ability and knowledge. As we learned last year, everybody's going to have to contribute to our football team's success. And so spring is about them developing. They've had about 6 weeks in the weight room, and now we want to transition and work really the next 4 weeks in football fundamentals and technique. Number 2, we're going to lay the foundations of our offense, defense, and special teams and we're not going to skip any steps. We're starting at the beginnings. Although offense and special teams have a little bit of a leg up on the defense, we're going back to the basics because we didn't get to do this last year, and look forward to starting at the groundwork and building up. Excited for Coach Wilks to be able to do that with his defense also, and really work together, compete against each other, but strive together to put us in a position to compete for the SEC East. And then third, and probably the most important, is continue to work on team chemistry and camaraderie. We really need to develop leaders on our team, but develop that team chemistry so we're playing for each other, playing for the man next to us on the football field, and develop that camaraderie in the trenches and on the football field. And so we got a lot to accomplish. We got a lot to work on. We spent a lot of time evaluating the last 2 weeks or the last 2 months on specific areas that we really need to improve. I've had a lot of time to really think about, what are the strategic things that we need to do to continue to push this program forward. And we know right now it's a critical component of that with spring football. And it's not going to be as much about the scheme as it is about individual player development, fundamentals of our foundations of our offense and defensive units and special teams units, and then building team chemistry and camaraderie. So with that, I'll open it up for questions and keep going.
Go ahead, get your hands raised in the queue, and we'll get started. Looks like first question, Gabe DeArmond, Power Mizzou. Go ahead.
Eli, how big a difference is it? Not only do you know your players and your roster a little bit more than you did 12 months ago, but that they kind of know what to expect out of you and the way you run the program going into spring.
Yeah, I think there's obviously a familiarity there, which is going to allow them to anticipate. And obviously anticipation is a key part of growth, where you can anticipate what's next and kind of be ready for it. But the one thing I've challenged everybody on is that we're not building upon next year. We're establishing a new edge for who we are and what we're trying to create for this coming season, and embrace the challenges and changes that have occurred, and realize that everything starts over, and nothing that we accomplished last year, other than the confidence that we have in what we're doing will work, is going to affect what we're wanting to do this year.
Coach, I don't think we had a chance to talk to you since some updates with the indoor facility. Are you happy with the placement of the facility, and kind of what's the update there with that, and when you guys can expect to see it start getting built?
Well, I know that I was looking out my windows today, and there was surveyors out there, and they're looking at the positioning of the indoor, and I anticipate it being, right outside the southeast end zone facility, which for the sake of convenience and I think for the long-term look of this southeast end zone facility, and you're going to have a beautiful indoor. You got the southeast end zone facility. You've got the arena, kind of being our focal point for the athletics department. I think it's certainly a great position. Obviously, anticipate. I think May we have another meeting to continue to move forward with that. So I don't speak for our president of the university or our board of curators. I certainly fall in line with their authority, but I'm excited about what they've improved so far, and we're continuing to work diligently to secure fundraising and secure more donations to get this thing built. And like I've challenged, people, our team, our staff, our players, and as I'll continue to challenge our fans, commitment is not a one-time act. You have to recommit yourself to pursuing a championship each and every offseason. And we got to continue as a fan base and as donors to continue to pursue that championship mentality. So we're going to be knocking on doors and asking for continued donations and stepping up to the plate. Nothing would excite us more. Obviously, we've got a taste of a championship with the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, with the Royals several years ago winning the World Series, with the Cardinals winning the World Series. It's time for the Missouri Tigers to step up to the plate and continue to push this program forward. But we need everybody involved in that and continue to push so that we can get there.
Dave Matter, St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Hey, Eli, with the newcomers you have in the program that came in this semester, how do you kind of work them into the program as far as spring goes? Do they have to earn reps, or what's that transition like for them?
Well, again, it's all going to be about individual player development. So everybody's going to get reps and opportunities to perform and develop, and it's not going to be necessarily as much about trying to create the chemistry with a group of ones, twos, or threes. It's about, hey, how is this person performing? How is he getting better? And everybody's going to have an opportunity to do that. We're really excited about the 11 early enrollees or new guys that we have, and they're absolutely are going to get an opportunity to perform. There's really only depth charts for functionality. There's no real depth charts at the end of spring to determine. Everything will be determined in fall camp. Fall camp's where you really compete for positions. This is about an opportunity for these guys to be aggressive in their development, go out, make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, come out and continue to get better, continue to find their edge and how they're going to be, best developed to be a player that can help us win.
Andy Humphrey, KTGR.
Hey, Eli, just what do you want to see out of Conner this spring, and how do you want him to kind of value this time? Since when you work with a quarterback that has established himself as a starter, the season before, what steps do you want a guy like that to usually take in the springtime?
Well, the first thing we have to improve on is our ball security in the pocket. The second thing we need to improve upon is our ability to throw touchdowns in the red zone and be a more productive player in the red area. And then the third thing I want to see him is be aggressive. I don't want to see him be reckless, but I want to see him be aggressive this spring and figure out, okay, I can throw these balls into this window. I can put this ball here. I can back shoulder this one. I can fit it into that tight window and make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. Obviously, I don't want to be reckless. I don't want him to be careless or comfortable. What I want him to be is to challenge himself and continue to improve as a quarterback. And I think there's going to be, obviously, y'all be out at some practices. I think you'll see plenty of times where we're going to challenge him.
Colin O'Brien, Jeff City News Tribune.
Hey, Eli, like you mentioned, the early enrollees, you'll get the rest of the class in the summer, but just where are you at in terms of the depth of this team with all the roster flux that happened and has been happening all over college football?
I feel good about it. I think the thing that has really been beneficial for us is that extra year of eligibility that's been granted by the NCAA, which has allowed us a little bit of an easier, smoother transition with some of the guys moving out of the program, and allowed us to really bring some other guys into the program, but still create some valuable depth. So don't have any glaring roster holes right now that we need to fix, but feel like we've got some competitive depth, some competitive position group competitions that are really going to show up. Probably not as much in spring, but show up in fall camp. And then we still have a few positions available to sign. If a transfer or something comes on the market, or a high school player comes on the market that we really would like.
Aaron Ladd, 41 Action News in Kansas City.
Hey, Eli, working on a story about some of the protests that happened in the program in 2015. I know you weren't a part of the group, but kind of wanted to see what your perspective was as an outsider then, and now kind of looking forward, how it empowered college athletes to have a voice.
Yeah, I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about necessarily 2015. I've spent a lot of time thinking about our team and how we can use our voice and our platform to promote change. And that's really what our Mizzou Impact initiative has been about. It's about being impactful, not just with statements, but with action within our community and using our influence in a positive way. As far as what we've done recently is we've spent time with community service projects. We've had hundreds of hours in the month of February in community service projects, even with COVID. We're a part of a group called Mizzou Impact, which is a part of our care portal, which is something that we do and have done once a week during the off season, and we did throughout the season. And we obviously did some things with backpacks and our voter registration drive. So we're continuing to find ways to utilize our voice. We're going to be doing something unique on Friday and on Saturday to promote African American or Black History Month, and our recognizing of Norris Stevenson as our first African American player to play here at Mizzou. So, again, I don't know. I can't speak specifically to 2015. All I can speak about is us finding our ways to continue to promote our platform for positivity.
Gabe DeArmond, Power Mizzou.
I know last year was a big uncertainty with rosters and eligibility, but I think you guys got at least 5 starters back using that extra year. Just in the end, how big a benefit to your program in year 2 is being able to use that extra year with those guys that came back?
Yeah, we're excited about those guys to come back and compete and to continue to grow. And what I challenged all of those guys on was to utilize this year as an opportunity to get better. And so whether or not the returning starters or returning players, the challenge for them is to continue to grow and improve and utilize this time as an opportunity to get better.
Greg Palermo, Fox 2 in St. Louis.
Hey, Coach, I'm curious. You mentioned not having any glaring holes as far as the roster goes. You've obviously got some leadership holes to fill and big shoes to fill with Nick Bolton heading off to the NFL in particular. I'm wondering how you see the spring helping you start to figure that piece of the puzzle out.
Yeah, and I think this will actually go back to Gabe's question too. You know, obviously going into this past year, we were really worried about our defensive line having, you know, potentially 9 seniors leaving the program and trying to replace 9 guys at the front. And obviously this is a trench league. And so to have several of those guys come back while also being able to add junior college depth and true freshman depth is going to allow us to really try to be deep and competitive at that position. And that's the goal, is competitive depth, so that you can play with 8 to 12 guys who, when you sub in the second or third team, they're fresh and don't have a drop off. As far as linebacker, obviously you're going to lose a second team All-American, a guy that I consider will be a first or second round draft pick. And I'd be shocked if he gets to the second round, but a guy who, you know, was a tremendous player in this league for several years. And so you don't easily replace that. That's, again, while it's about individual player development and each player finding their edge, we're going to have a lot of guys, you know, rep at that position to see ultimately who can be that linebacker. Excited to see how the 4-2-5 scheme that Steve is going to bring in is going to, you know, amplify and allow our guys to play a little bit faster on the back end, knowing that they're just responsible for 1 gaps and a little bit more dialed in on exactly what their run fit is. Obviously, we're going to be adding some linebackers, some really good linebackers this summer. And so none of these positions will be finalized until we give those guys an opportunity to compete.
Eli, I was going to ask you about Steve. Where'd that connection originate? And just take us through the hiring process of Steve.
Yeah, Coach Wilks is somebody that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. Obviously, when in my time in Raleigh is when the Carolina Panthers were first in the Super Bowl, and got to understand and know who Coach Steve Wilks was and what his DNA and fingerprint on that defense was for the Carolina Panthers. And then didn't realize until I got there that he was an alumni of Appalachian State. And then when I got the head coaching job, obviously we connected and reached out there, and then stayed in touch with him. And then when this job came open, reached out to him about if he would have interest. Obviously, he had a lot of things going on in the NFL and opportunities there, and got the opportunity to get in front of him and really sell our vision for what Mizzou is and can be, and the opportunities that it could present for him and his family, and you know, gave him the best pitch I had, and he finally relented and agreed, and excited about what he's going to do and bring to the table.
Hey, can I follow up and ask you, how'd you get to the Super Bowl this year? I tried to find you from the press box. They wouldn't let us out of the press box.
Well, Crut, I got on a plane and I flew down there.
Was there a connection with a player or?
No, just a fan. Just a fan. Got an opportunity to watch the greatest of all time versus the hometown team, and thought that was an opportunity of a lifetime that I'd never forget. I'd never been to an NFL game before. And the Super Bowl is kind of one of those bucket list items. I got about 4 of them from a sports perspective, and that was one of them, and was, you know, presented an opportunity to kind of make that dream become reality, and took advantage of it. And boy, I'm sure glad I did. It was no, it wasn't the outcome we wanted for the hometown team, but it was impressive to watch Tom Brady live.
Mitchell, 40 Power Mizzou.
Yeah, I know you'll be excited to answer your first injury report question of the year. Are you able to clarify any guys who are going to miss time during the spring due to injury?
Yeah, Kobe Whiteside will be out for the spring as he's recovering from a post-season surgery. Cam Wilkins will not be back. He's still recovering from his in-season surgery. Jatorian Hansford will be out for the spring as he's recovering from a postseason injury surgery. I think as of right now, off the top of I don't have my injury report in front of me, but I think those will be the three that will be gone or will not participate in spring. But we do anticipate having J.J. Hester back full speed, which is exciting for us. We are really excited to see Sean Robinson go through a full spring at the transition to safety, and he's ready to go full speed. So other than that, I think, unless there's just somebody specific that you have, Mitchell, I think that's the list.
And last one today is Andrew Calkins, KMIZ. Go ahead.
Just wanted to follow up on you just mentioned Sean Robinson there. What do you expect from him? Obviously, he had the interception, he had that great game when he was in there. Do you think that he could be like a starting safety for you guys and, potentially a game changer like he was in that one game last year?
Well, I think that's a lot of pressure to put on Sean. And I think, I don't want to compare him to anybody, and I don't want to put any undue pressure on him. What we expect out of Sean is for him to be the best version of himself every single day, to walk out there and compete, to be better today than he was yesterday, be better tomorrow than he was today. And if he does that consistently over the month of March, there's going to be good days and bad days. There's going to be times when he learns something new that he hasn't done before. But the thing I know about Sean is he's going to work his butt off to master the technique. He's going to be extremely coachable. And I personally think the sky's the limit for him. I know what I saw in that last game that he played in. And so obviously he's got a lot of potential, and we are sure excited about that. But I don't put any one other person. I don't put anything expectations or undue expectations on him. To follow up on Mitchell 40, it reminded me Jelani Williams will be out this spring recovering from a postseason upper body surgery, and so he will miss the spring, which will allow Sean to take some advantage of those reps.
Coach, just quickly want to follow up. You said the Super Bowl was your first NFL game ever that you've ever been to?
Yeah, I didn't stutter. I don't think, right? I'm just kidding. Yes, now first NFL football game never attended. Heck of one to start it with, right?
Hey, we had one more jump in, Gabe.
One more. All right, let's just keep on going, Gabe.
I was just curious. Obviously, this is pretty early for spring ball, and you're getting done before spring break. Was there any particular reasoning that you wanted to move it earlier, or is that just kind of when you've done it in the past?
Yeah, I don't want to lay on the beach worrying about spring football. So, I'm just kidding. No, there's all kinds of reasons why. I think for me personally, I've done it before like this, and I feel like it's a really good opportunity for your guys. One, you take the 6 weeks they get back from what would have been our bowl game, but they get 6 weeks to get their body in shape, and then you go straight into football. And once that's done, there's really 4 months of uninterrupted training that they get to change their bodies. And there's not going to be the wear and tear, whereas some programs will go 8 weeks and then they'll spread spring football over the course of 6 weeks. And then at that time, they have 1 week, and then they got the end of the semester. And you really only get 2 months of uninterrupted training. We're trying to maximize that time with 4 months of uninterrupted training. Give our guys a chance. If there's, something unfortunate, an injury or a tweaked ankle or something like that during spring, they have 4 months to really get back to full speed. And again, we want to try to create as little contact, but as long recovery as we can to really enhance player safety. And so I think it gives a lot of flexibility to your staff. And then I personally have never liked the idea. I've never really enjoyed where you go practice for 7-8 practices, then you break and then you come back. It's if we're going to get out there, let's get our mind on our business. Let's go 4 weeks. Let's make sure we're improving every day. And it's going to be a grind. But when it's over, we can all drink Mai Tais on the beach and have a good time.
Hey, it's Blair. We have a special subscription offer for SportsBeat KC listeners, unlimited digital access to the Kansas City Stars award-winning sports coverage. Sign up now for 1 year of Sports Pass for access to all the sports news, features, and columns presented on the kansascity.com site, and it's only $30. That's a 40% savings off our regular rate. Your subscription will automatically renew after the initial term at $50 unless you tell us to cancel. Your subscription helps support the sports coverage of kansascity.com and the Kansas City Star, and that support has never been more important. Please visit kansascity.com/SportsBeatKC offer to get this special offer. And as always, thanks for listening. Missouri Athletic Director Jim Sterk also met with reporters this week, and I asked him about the idea of fans in the stands this season. Then he provided some updates on the new indoor facility.
If you talk to the expert, we're planning on, and then we'll have to pivot and adjust if we're not vaccinated enough and we don't have herd immunity by that time. We can't do anything but plan on not limiting our sales, and so we're excited. I think the progress that's been made, and especially in the last 2-3 weeks of the positives going down and hospitalizations going down. So we're trending very well and hopeful that it even improves by this summer.
Jim, any update on the new football indoor facility? Eli told us there were surveyors out in the parking lot today. You can see them in his office.
I heard that. Yeah, that's really positive, and they're looking at what trees have to go down and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's moving along. The design should be completed by the May board meeting, and we're hopeful to have a financing plan by then so that we can move forward, and then it would be an 18-month construction period.
Jim, what do you think some of the benefits are to having a new football facility?
Obviously a lot for football, but also our other sports. It got a little crowded, during the polar vortex, trying to have teams in there. So I think we're the most northern SEC school, and we're also the only major university within this surrounding states that don't have a full indoor. We've been at a competitive disadvantage from that standpoint. So creating, actually the first day I had Coach Drinkwitz here, we were driving in a golf cart, and we were looking at potential, can we renovate Hearns? Can we put it over by the Matsy? And then, settled on the south end zone. And he said, I'll bet, if you asked all our coaches, they don't have enough indoor space. And he was thinking not only for football, but also for them. The last couple weeks, I think when we had to go inside, they weren't able to run a practice like they normally would, or throw deep balls, because it would impact others on the field. So it'll be a huge benefit from a practice and conditioning standpoint, but it'll be used all year round by them as well. When it gets really hot, they can use it as a place to get good workouts in as well.
Geographically, is that are we talking just basically right on top of Lot G, or does it go into that wooded area? Or?
It's into the wooded area. It's Lot C up above one. So we take part of that lot, and it'll take part of that. We'll lose some parking spots, but we're hopeful to gain some back as well as an ad alternate on the project.
Jim, I know one of the board members said he wanted to see athletics pay for that completely. Are you confident that'll happen? You guys are...
We did it with the south end zone. That was it ended up with the video $104 million, but we do that. That's what we do. I didn't think of it in any other way.
Jim, the challenge of the additional year of eligibility for seniors, can you speak to that? And how many total do you think you anticipate coming back?
I don't think our coaches know. I don't know if the kids know. But there are some, Tim or Sarah, have you guys?
Football's got 12.
Football has 12 overall. So we're going through, and they're having those conversations as their seasons end and as next year gets closer, then decisions will have to be made this spring for that. But we're not limiting that. We're allowing them to come back. What kind of bill that'll be, we don't know as far as extra scholarship costs, but it won't come cheap.
That'll do it for today and this week on SportsBeat KC. Thanks to our production staff of Derek Donovan, Beth Welsh, Monty Davis, Jeff Rosen, Chris Fickett, and Savannah Smith. Links to stories about Mizzou can be found in the show notes and on kansascity.com. Hey, we have another deal for you. For a limited time, you can subscribe to Sports Pass for 99 cents a month. That's right, 99 pennies a month. After 3 months, it auto-renews at $5.99 a month unless you cancel. And what a time to subscribe. The Royals are at spring training, March Madness is right around the corner, and it's never not Chiefs season. How do you get it? You go to kansascity.com/sportspass2020. That is kansascity.com/sportspass2020. You want more than just sports coverage? Check out the entire Kansas City Star product. Sports news, features, commentary, and analysis, the whole thing. You get all the stories written by my talented colleagues, plus additional national news, sports, and business coverage with the e-edition. The details for all of these deals can be found at account.kansascity.com/subscribe. And if you're having trouble hunting down any of these offers, send me an email, bkirkhoff@kcstar.com, and I'll get you to the right place. So whether it's the Sports Pass or the full subscription, you're getting and supporting the best sports and news coverage in Kansas City and helping us produce programs like SportsBeat KC. Thanks for listening, and we will be back on Monday with another episode.